As schools resume across the country after a long break, students in the northwest region of Nigeria are resuming in phases, while others may still spend more time at home owing to the spate of kidnappings and banditry. As a follow-up to the various pictures we received in the aftermath of the attacks on some schools in the northwest, we pieced together this report on the implication of this situation on education in the region.
Parents jubilate at the arrival of their children, abducted students of Greenfield University in Kaduna State who were freed from captivity. The emotional attachment of parents to their children is what bandits exploit to kidnap students for ransom.
It's okay, calm down.
After the abduction of 276 girls from the government secondary school in Chibok, Borno State in 2014, attacks on schools and abduction of students by armed men have grown in number and spread across the northern parts of the country. According to a recent report released by the United Nations Children Education Fund, UNICEF, there have been about 20 attacks on schools in 2021, leading to the abduction of 1,436 children. The report cited 16 deaths and more than 200 children still missing. The Northwest region has recently been the epicenter of school attacks and students' abduction, especially in Kaduna, Zamfara, Katsina, Kebbi states. This has instilled fear among residents, preventing at least 1 million children from returning to school, according to UNICEF.
We are living in hostel. Then they came around 12 and come and pack us. They take us there. We don't know even the place. But I don't know, is it inside Kaduna or somewhere, I don't know. So now we thank God that we are back now. And we pray that the rest will be back very soon, inshallah.
The idea behind the bandits' onslaughts could be of economic gains. That's different from groups like Boko Haram, who are against secular education. However, the activities of both groups are having a devastating effect on education in the North region, a worrisome situation for many.
This war that we are fighting with bandits, kidnappers, and terrorists is a full-blown war. We have lost so many people in Kaduna State, in Northwest, and in Nigeria. The statistics or the data can hardly be correct because of the high number of people that have been killed. Therefore, the military should engage these bandits and kidnappers very well. And to add to it, the police should go into more intelligence in the society, both in the afternoon and at night, to collect this intelligence and move ahead of these criminals. So it is something that the state, the federal government can go into it. Like in Kaduna State, I know that the governor is recruiting thousands of hunters and equipping them to also guard the society. And if every state can do that, recruit more, and let's fight this war together. Then the idea of amnesty does not arise at this time. You can see the case of Zamfara and Katsina. They tried amnesty, it did not work. Now the governor is out fully saying, let's fight the war. And I think collectively there should be cohesion, there should be cooperation among the governors from North Central, Northwest, and Northeast. Together we can fight this criminality.
In most cases, kidnapped school children are freed by abductors after the payment of ransom, sometimes through security intervention. A few others pay with their lives. In the wake of the heightened security challenges in the Northwest, authorities announced a temporary shutdown of schools, especially those located in vulnerable areas, until security is guaranteed.
It's something that requires a collaborative and holistic approach, which we've unable to forge consensus until recently. But I'm happy to say that we have arrived at that consensus. And you will notice in the last week or so there has been significant reduction in this because the military has mounted a very aggressive operation against the bandits using the Air Force as well as ground troops. So we hope we are coming to the end of this. Part of the reason why we closed down all our schools in Kaduna is in anticipation of this operation, because we don't want in the process of the bandits escaping to attack any school that they see as soft targets. This is why we close all the schools except those that are doing their NECO, and even those we relocated to urban schools that we know can be protected.
I have seen the development. We started with cattle rustling. Now it has become banditry, kidnapping, wanton destruction of lives and properties. So we are planning the next stage, which we have done, and we have given the security agencies to give us their plan of action, so that within the next few weeks we will be again having a joint operation of all these states, now including Gabon. We are working with the examination bodies who are going to close all schools and discourage any public gathering, whether it is ceremonies and all over. We are going to do that to discourage. So everything we are going to discourage.
Shutting down schools may not be contested considering the situation. Some stakeholders are mindful about the disruption to the gains that have been made in recent years in the education sector, especially for a region with a high rate of out-of-school children.
When schools are shut down, the business is also shut down. Government is being overwhelmed by this insecurity. The reason being that even the security agencies have been attacked, which means the security architecture in the country is insufficient. And the only way government can, improve on this is to pump in more money, and especially in the area of human resources. The schools have their own role to play. Government too has their own role to play. If you have a school, all you need to do is to make sure you put in the necessary security measures, like having perimeter fencing, have guards in the school, and then maybe you have an alarm that can alert the security agency when there is problem. But apart from that, what can the ordinary man do? And I was also suggesting last time that these strike forces that we have in Kaduna, if they can be extended to the neighboring villages, it will also help a lot. If we have strike forces in Kujama, we have in other suburb areas, I think that one will seriously help the security situation in the country, even in Nigeria.
UNICEF reports that Nigeria currently has about 10.5 million children out of school, aged between 5 and 14 years, most of them in the north, where school attacks and kidnappings have only made the situation worse.
assignment that requires agile personnel, those who are full of...
In addition to the military offensive on bandits in Kaduna and other northwestern states, a special squad of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NCDC) has been trained and deployed to schools and communities exposed to kidnapping and banditry.
Our men are fully trained and they are going to those vulnerable schools. They may not be permanent in a particular school, but they will be patrolling and keeping surveillance over these vulnerable schools that have been enumerated, identified, and their attention will be focused on these schools we are talking about. Incidentally, if there is any distress call from anywhere beside these schools, they will also be there to attend to those distress calls. Beyond that, while on patrol, if critical national assets have been vandalized, it is one of our core mandates. Definitely they will address that kind of issue when it arises. But basically, the essence of this rapid response code is to ensure that distress calls are being responded to and patrolling of schools that are vulnerable to insecurity.
We are doing a lot on the ground with sources who are providing credible human intelligence, and it has been helpful. And you will also agree with us, within the last 2-3 months, the battle against banditry, kidnapping and other crimes have been intensified, and we are recording results. Air interdictions, ground troops are also closing up. The DSS are also helping with intelligence gathering. The police are also mopping up. So you will understand that we are really working very hard, and our efforts are yielding results as far as the battle against banditry in Birnungwari, Giwa, Igabichukun general areas are concerned. But we are not satisfied, because we've not been able to achieve 100% objectives that we set up for ourselves. But we are making progress. Community policing is coming up, is an arrangement where communities can be part of security. Like, you know, what we are trying to mainstream here in Kaduna State is participatory security management, a situation where communities will have stake, a situation where communities will contribute immensely to the security of their communities, a situation where you have to involve the communities, a situation where you create an arrangement or you create a hub where communities will be engaging security agencies and government at a time. That is why we set up what we call Kaduna State Security Operations Room. It's a 24-hour operations room where people can interact. You should be able to get in touch with the center to say that, oh, you have noticed a suspicious movement, or you've seen something that looks unusual. What we will do from the very moment that we get the information will be processed, the information will be shared to different security agencies for immediate action.
Critics assume that long years of weak security infrastructure and the inability of state governors to take control of security in the state are largely responsible for the attacks on schools and communities. However, with the recent collaborative steps taken by states within the Northwest, it is expected that security will gradually return.